Awete everyone, this is Regulus Pastor. Welcome back to Higurashi no Naku Koro ni. This is Himatsubushi-hen, the fourth and last question arc of the main experience, which are 8 arcs, 4 question and 4 answer. And this is the last of the question arcs. So, Rika kept cutting the cords to all of the phones but one of them that we've come across to try to call our wife and before visiting hours at her hospital she was about to give birth were over. And the last phone we came across, the insides were completely torn out. So we caught up with Rika, and she said that there's no use in it, and that there would only be bad news. And she also delivered some chilling predictions about the future that we know from other arcs will probably happen in this arc, this timeline, such as the dam construction foreman getting killed, Satoku's parents getting killed, Rika's parents getting killed, Satoko and Satoshi's aunt getting killed, and Satoshi disappearing, and Rika getting killed. So we're kind of left to sit with that. And we went back to the hospital after our escapade to try to find a phone. Oh, and we also saw the poor excuse for a Hinamizawa festival that was back then, which was just the town council drinking, basically, because Rika wasn't old enough to do the rituals yet. Let's continue. Alright. We should have at least one tip. I can't remember how many. No, I think we might have had 3 or 4, and they're all named similarly, if I can remember correctly. Yep. Mother's Diary 1. Let me just double check that, yeah. I just wanted to, double check that, that my mic was on. There was something I didn't like about my child. I don't know who I'm reading as. I'm gonna guess yeah.
There was something I didn't like about my child. I first realized it when I started writing these things down. They never warn you about it in any books about raising children, but they aren't just a plaything. If they aren't able to feel loved even when they're not doing exactly as their parents want them to, then those parents are failures. This wasn't something like that, though.
Excuse me. Started getting a tickle in my schnoz just as I started voice acting. The timing.
This wasn't something like that, though. How can I say it? It's probably harder to express with mere words. I just want my child to be average. As long as they weren't falling behind, there wasn't any need for them to excel at something. As long as they acted appropriately for their age, I would have been fine with it. But my child had been different ever since kindergarten. While the children in her class were running around in excitement about the field trip the next day, she only wore a bored look on her face, aloof and distant.
Is this about Rika? Wow.
When the other kids broke the equipment for the athletics festival and were apologizing fervently, she only wore a bored look on her face, aloof and distant. When the teacher was reading a fun picture book, only she wasn't smiling. Even if they all got to eat a delicious bento, only she wasn't happy. If it was only this, it would still be in the realm of understanding. However, what I don't understand about my child is that if the aforementioned situations happened again, they'd now act in a manner befitting their age. I don't understand the principle behind that, as a parent. Why were they indifferent about that field trip, but happy about this one? Why were they indifferent about that picture book, but happy about this one? Why were they indifferent about that bento, but happy about this one? The former and the latter in each situation seem exactly the same to me. There were even times when I thought the former one was better. I don't understand that child's feelings. During parent-teacher meetings, the teacher always says the same thing. And I would always respond that I don't understand my own child, and we would mope together. My husband, always the optimist, once said that a young child's feelings are different from an adult's. So if there were some things we didn't understand, we shouldn't worry about it. I lament his lack of urgency. One day, when I was in a good mood, I took the effort to prepare a menu that my child would enjoy. But she only smiled with a vague expression of disinterest. That attitude frankly made me angry, so I hit her on the head. On a day when the weather was nice. The laundry I had just hung up to dry was blown by a large gust of wind, causing the entire line to fall down. But she, watching me trying to pick up the laundry in a panic, stood there laughing. That attitude frankly made me angry, so I hit her on the head. I think the same sort of thing happened countless times. Before I knew it, my child was only able to look at me with an indifferent expression on her face. I regret the fact that I'd been a bad mother. Thinking I should regain her trust, I thought to get it back little by little with some light interactions. Seeing her do some sort of craft work on the veranda, I called out to her.
ここ数日、気持ちのいい晴れの日が続いて、気分がいいわね。
I called it.
These past few days have been nice and sunny. The air feels nice, doesn't it? That child, with that indifferent look on her face I hated so much, looked up at me for a moment, then without a word returned to immersing herself in her craft work. Up until now, I would have hit her on the head just for that. I held myself back.
何を作ってるの？お人形さん？
What are you making? Is it a doll?
てるてる坊主。
A weather chime. That child was using inserts from the newspaper to deftly make some weather charms. The forecast hadn't called for rain. But that child, in her own way, was praying that these sunny days would continue. Being able to understand my own child for the first time in a while, I couldn't hide my own happiness. Bringing out a ball of yarn, I began to hang my child's cute weather charms from the eaves of the house.
ダメよ、リカ。
It's no good, Rika.
頭が重すぎるから。ほら。
The heads are too heavy, see?
逆さてるてる坊主になっちゃったわ。
They've become reverse weather chimes now.
これじゃ晴れじゃなくて雨になっちゃうわよ。
If they're like this, they'll call the rain instead of the sun. When I started to take them down, my child tugged at the hem of my shirt as if to stop me.
逆さになるように作ったのだから、それでいいの。
That's because I made them to be upside down. They're fine.
でもリカ、てるてる坊主が逆さじゃ晴れのおまじないにならないわよ。
Rika, if they're upside down, it won't be a charm that calls for a sunny day, you know?
雨が降るようにおまじないをしているから、それでいいの。
I was making a charm for it to rain, so they're fine. I desperately suppressed the emotions swelling up inside of me. I was trying desperately to understand my child.
そっか。
Oh,
お庭の朝顔が晴れ続きで元気がなくなっちゃったから、雨が欲しいのね。
I see. The morning glories in the garden were starting to get a little wilted from all the sun, so you wanted some rain, right? That child turned to me with the expression that I hated the most.
晴れにね。飽きたの。
I got bored of the clear weather. I don't understand. I don't understand. I just can't understand that child.
I'm gonna go take some, a leave, I think. I can feel my throat already getting inflamed, and, well, it's not gonna be pretty if I don't do something to stem that right now. Okay. Mother's Diary 2.
During the family council, she buried herself under Oryo-san's futon again. Oryo-san dotes on her unwaveringly. No matter whatever insolence my child commits, she doesn't mind. It's almost as though my child is a kitten or something. Oryo dotes on her exactly like you would with a kitten. As her mother, I chided her for doing that. Until Oryo-san had said 3 times that it was fine, I chided her as a formality. Of course, she never lends an ear to any of my chidings. Knowing that Oryo-san's standing was far above mine, she behaves like that. I don't like the cunning that's unbefitting of her age either. In any case, not only Oryo-san, but the rest of the old folk in the village spoil her too much. One day, I was surprised. By chance, on the way back from some shopping, I saw her by herself just outside a candy shop. My own child suddenly grabbed a snack, opened the package right there and then, and started eating it. She didn't make any attempt to pay for it, and she didn't even think of looking around. It didn't even feel like she was shoplifting, more like she were brazenly eating snacks that were offered to her. When I began to admonish my child, the elderly shop owner appeared and covered for her. The owner gave the ridiculous excuse that he had said it was okay for that child to eat any of the snacks off by the entrance, so it was fine. When I tried to pay for the snacks that my child had eaten, the owner refused my money. During that exchange, more old folks had suddenly gathered around, and it began to feel like I was the one in the wrong. The elderly people all put their hands together reverently in front of my child and repeatedly voiced their respects. I was born into the Higurashi family, so it wasn't like I didn't know why she was being treated specially. When I was still young, it was something I heard often from my grandmother. If by chance the child that I gave birth to was a girl, that child would be the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. All the older folk believe she's the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama, and spoil her rotten. And not only did they spoil her, but they even told her she was the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. That she had a divine power, and threw all sorts of strange folk tales her way. So she may have begun to believe herself that she was a special existence. I went around and told everybody that it wasn't good for her upbringing, so to stop telling her all these strange things.
Typo.
But there was no uprooting the elderly people's deep-seated superstitions.
And there's a typo too. It's supposed to be S-E-E-D-E-D.
I told my child not to listen to them, but it ended up being that she stopped listening to me. Between all the old folks in the village who doted on her and myself who only scolded her, there's no wonder who she would listen to. There was no mistaking that the reason she had become strange was because of the elderly villagers. There's no doubt that they had shoved her full of strange folk tales and superstitions since she was young. If it weren't for that, there's no doubt my child would have been cute and normal.
Sorry, I just gotta clear my throat. Still feels like there's stuff back there. Mother's Diary 3.
One sunny parent-teacher day.
Okay, let me do that line again.
One sunny parent-teacher day. There's a cooking class, and my child was making curry rice with a practiced hand. While the other children her age were awkwardly using their kitchen knives, that child was wielding hers deftly. His teacher approached me with a smile on their face, saying it must be a result of learning it at home. I managed to play it off with a vague smile and a nod in response. That was because I had never once taught my child how to make curry rice. Even then, she was peeling vegetables with a practiced hand, adding them into the pot in the order of which took longer to cook. For a normal parent, they might unintentionally clap their hands together, happy at their child's actions. But in my case, it was different. There's no mistaking that somebody had taught her how to make that curry rice when I wasn't taking care of her. Thinking that, I quietly fell into an unpleasant mood. When I asked, it seemed she could also sew and do the laundry. I'd never taught her how to do those, and again, never saw her do it around the house. Be it cooking, or sewing, or the laundry. Again, that was probably because the elderly villagers taught her all sorts of rubbish when I wasn't looking. And not only that, they probably taught her all sorts of strange superstitions, trying to prop her up as the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. I said as much to my husband, suggesting that we should keep our child away from the elderly folk. But my husband, who was in the position of being the head priest of the Huride shrine, had little power against the elderly who supported it. He took the rather uncommitted stance of saying that as long as she was being doted upon, wasn't it fine? I agreed against that. That she was her child, and should be a completely normal girl. That what the elderly were expecting, that she was the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama, was simply odd. The elderly villagers believe that child has divine powers. We would discuss the weather for the following day, but there were many times I left the house without an umbrella and came back soaking wet. Rather than having clairvoyance, that was just secondhand knowledge from her watching the news all the time. The things that she knew that she shouldn't have known were just a result of the people who were trying to indoctrinate her and the people who were gossiping getting together in the village. However, there certainly were days when everybody thought it was going to be sunny all day, and that child would stubbornly not go out without an umbrella. It would occasionally rain, and in the end, we would be saved. There might also have been times when Rika knew of major accidents in foreign countries faster than the news did. I thought that she must have heard it break over the radio or something. Knowing things she shouldn't have. Something like that. Was in front of me right now, wasn't it? That child was making curry rice when there shouldn't have been anybody who taught her how to. No. That couldn't possibly be the case. Somebody had taught her, indoctrinated her. When I wasn't taking care of her, somebody had indoctrinated Rika with something.
フルデさんのカレーは大変見事です。先生、花丸をあげちゃいます。
Furude-san's curry is absolutely splendid. I'll give it a gold star.
ニパー。
ニパー。
フルデさんはお料理を誰に習いましたか？やっぱりお家で？
Where did you learn to cook, Furude-san? At home?
はい、お家なのですよ。
Yes! At home! The other parents in attendance were impressed. Lies. All lies. I didn't teach her anything. Who was it? Who was it? Who was the person who had completely indoctrinated my child? She was my normal, average daughter, not the living incarnation of Oyanshiro-sama.
Darn. Ooh, achievement unlocked. Detective Himatsubushi. Read all tips in Himatsubushi. Did I ever get any read all tips in any other arcs? I don't think I ever got achievements like that before. That's interesting. Sorry about that. Midsummer, 1985.
Papa! Papa ってば!
I got a new voice to do. How am I gonna do this?
Papa! Are you there, Papa?
Oh.
Oh.
大丈夫?
Are you alright?
怖い夢でも見たの?
Are you having a scary dream?
Miyuki was sitting next to me. I quickly patted her head after hearing her say that. I must have had a bad dream while sleeping in the cabin. I was sweating profusely.
いや、なんでもない。
No, it's nothing.
ちょっと暑かったかな。
I guess it's a little hot in here. I tried to wipe away the sweat while answering. I looked around for a handkerchief or towel. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just trying to ascertain which pitch accent I need for Miyuki's name. And apparently it's not going to tell me. Well, crap. 1 second. And then a cold drop ran down my forehead. Miyuki turned to me and smiled, then wiped my face with the towel she received at takeoff.
ありがとう、ユキ。
Darn it, now I can't say that without knowing the accent, so I have to look this up. It's become a need now. Okay. So it's Yuki. So let's see. What about this kanji? Sorry about this. I just have to know. Okay. So, I'm guessing Miyuki. Thanks, Miyuki. Forgot what I was thanking her for, with all that.
Of course!
Thanks to her, I was finally able to shake off my slumber. So I got up from the aisle seat and looked out the window. I wrapped my arms around Miyuki in the window seat and listened to the noise as the land and the sea blew past us before our eyes.
Mom! It's Hokkaido! Hokkaido is so big!
I know that wordplay did not translate into English. And then the plane gently turned before entering the airport runway. Arriving at the lobby, I glanced around looking for Oishi, and was met with a familiar gruff voice calling out to me.
Akasaka-san!
Akasaka-san!
Na- 何年ぶりでしょ
How many years has it been?
う。ご無沙汰しておりますね。
It's been a while, hasn't it?
大石さん、
Oishi-san,
本当にお久しぶりです。
it really has been a long time. Oishi clapped his hand down on my shoulder, celebrating our reunion.
赤坂さんもだいぶいい顔つきになりましたね。
He sounds different. Akasaka-san, you're looking pretty good.
最前線の捜査官らしいいい顔つきですよ。
You look like a bona fide frontline investigator now.
大石さんはだいぶスマートになりましたね。
You're looking quite dapper yourself.
背筋も良くなったような。
Your posture seems a lot better.
これも社交ダンスのおかげですか。
Is the ballroom dancing paying off?
赤坂さんもね、若いうちからダンスはやっておいた方がいいですよ。
You should give it a try while you're still young.
そしたらきっとモテます。
You'd be a hit with the ladies.
モテモテ。
A real babe magnet. Oishi had retired and moved to Sapporo, and of all things had started taking ballroom dancing lessons. He had apparently gotten really into it, and had decided to spend the rest of his new life devoted to that hobby. Wow. He was aiming to get his instructor's qualifications before he hit 80, and live out his old age dandily.
おやそちらがひょっとして
Who might this be? Oishi suddenly turned his attention to Miyuki, who was standing idly next to me. He bent down on his knee to look her in the face. However, my daughter was frightened and hid behind my back.
こら、みゆき。
Well, he is a big pervert. Just maybe not with his targets that low. Come on, Miyuki.
ちゃんとご挨拶しなさい。
Please introduce yourself properly.
と
She was staring at Oishi with a dubious expression while tugging at the hem of my shirt. She's usually not this shy. I wonder what's wrong.
すみません。
Sorry about that.
いつもはこうじゃないんですが。
She's usually not like this.
いえいえいいんですよ
Excuse me. Oh no, it's no problem.
おじさん顔が怖いからなよかったらお名前を聞いてもいいですか
This old man just has a scary face. If you don't mind, could you tell me your name?
赤坂みゆき
I'm Akasaka Miyuki.
7歳です
I'm 7 years old.
こんにちはです
Nice to meet you.
いいお返事です
Great. That was a good introduction.
さすがは赤坂さんの娘さんですよな
I'd expect no less from Akasaka-san's daughter. Oishi gently stroked Miyuki's head and smiled as though she were his own grandchild. After finally seeing that, Miyuki smiled in relief. Shortly afterwards, Miyuki told me that she was just doing what I had told her to do. Be careful around strangers. Oishi overheard that and let out a hearty shaking his body while laughing and walking. I let myself into Oishi's car and we headed out towards the hot spring inn. I had originally intended to crash at Oishi's place, but Oishi was quite obstinate that his home wasn't suitable for that, so it came to this. At the inn, we relaxed while soaking in the hot springs, then ate a delicious feast until we were full. Miyuki had a little of the Mongolian barbecue and was delighted with it. I've never had Mongolian barbecue. I've had Korean well, I can't say I've Korean barbecue because it's probably not authentic Korean barbecue. Probably Korean-based, but heavily Americanized barbecue. That's pretty much how it goes, isn't it? After our bellies were swollen, Miyuki grew sleepy and went off to bed. Then Oishi and I reminisced about the time we played mahjong together in Hinamizawa. It seemed that to celebrate our reunion, Oishi had looked for people who could play, but unable to find a suitable candidate, we had to give up on putting together a table. As we drank together, we excitedly recounted our exploits during the final manhunt.
結局、あの犯人の二人は捕まったんですか
Did they end up catching those two guys?
いいえ
What the heck are you wearing? Man, I think he really has gotten into ballroom dancing. That's too classy a yukata than I would give him credit for. The yawns have officially commenced at 10:42 p.m. Nope.
結局山狩りでも見つけられませんでした
In the end, the search team never found them.
多分村にかくまわれてから 海外か遠方でほとぼりを冷ましてるんじゃないかと思いますね。
They were probably hidden by the villagers, then sent overseas or somewhere else for a to lay low for a bit.
大石さんは確か犯人の銃の一丁を奪いましたよね。
Oi-san, if I remember correctly, you managed to grab one of their guns, didn't you?
あれからは
Did you learn anything from that?
海外の軍用拳銃でした。
It was a Chinese-made military pistol.
関西系の暴力団組織が大量に密輸したうちの一丁でしょうな。
It's probably from the ones the gangs in Kansai managed to smuggle in a ton of.
戦場痕を調べましたが、他の事件とのつながりは何も出ませんでした。
We tried to get a match from the rifling, but it didn't show up in any other cases.
そっちでは？
How about on your end?
私はあの後しばらく現場を離れましたのでよくは知りません。
After that, I was removed from the front lines, so I don't know much.
結局全部闇の中ってことで決着したようですがね。
In the end, it seems like everything was settled under the veil of secrecy. Oishi smiled wryly as he sipped his chilled drink.
あの後は大変でしたね。
What happened after that? Sure was tough, huh?
今年で7年ですか。
It has been 7 years now.
ええ。
Yeah,
先日7回忌の法要がありました。
we held the memorial service a few days ago.
岐阜とも最近は疎遠でして準備でいろいろ苦労しました。
I've become estranged with my father-in-law lately, so it was rough getting everything ready.
それはお疲れ様でした。
That must have been a lot of work.
It was then that the hostess brought in the extra drinks that we had ordered before. While the bottles of beer clanked as she brought them in, we halted our conversation. What Oishi meant when he said it must have been tough. Thinking about that was still hard. But time had healed the wound. It was the day after, when I phoned Oishi to apologize. When I did, Oishi almost immediately handed the phone to one of my colleagues who happened to be there. Not only was I injured in the brawl with the suspects, but I disappeared to drink late into the night without leaving any sort of contact information, so I thought he'd definitely been mad. However, all I said was that it is something he couldn't talk about over the phone, and that I should come to the station as soon as possible. At the time, I could only think that he must have been really ticked off. But when I arrived at the station, he said this.
君の奥さんが事故に遭ったらしい。
It seems your wife was involved in an accident. Having no idea what happened, I borrowed the phone to contact the hospital Yukie was staying at. After being given the runaround several times, I was finally able to talk to someone in charge, and after mincing words for quite some time, they told me.
赤坂幸恵様が事故でお亡くなりになりました。
I need a phone simulator. There it is. Akasaka Yukie died in an accident. The world became a blur as I sat there dumbfounded. Yukie's death was unbelievably abrupt, unbelievably sudden. I could have understood if there was some kind of problem during the birth, but Yukie's death wasn't anything like that. On the stairs on the way up to the roof, she just happened to slip and fall. And she just happened to fall in an unfortunate place at an unfortunate angle. That was it. Wanting to blame Yukie's death on somebody, I began to think that it was an act of revenge by the Defense Alliance. That they killed my wife and made it look like an accident. What I learned when I flew back to Tokyo, however, was much more cruel than that. Yukie had a habit of going up to the roof to cool off in the evening. There was an elevator up to the 7th floor, but from there you had to take the stairs to get to the roof. Even later in her pregnancy, when the evening came, she would always head up there. Her father had always said for her not to push herself, but Yukie insisted that until the time she had no choice but to stay in bed, she should be allowed to do as she wished. However, I had never once seen Yukie go up to the roof. I only heard that from her father and the nurses. That's because whenever I visited her, she would spend that time with me instead. I heard the reason why Yukie went up to the roof from a nurse she had become friendly with. She had said that her husband was away on business a lot of the time, and that whenever he called, she was able to cheer him up and give him courage. But when he didn't call, she couldn't do that. Her husband might put on a show of bravado, but in reality he grew lonesome pathetically fast. She was probably just the same. Whenever he left for business, not clear when he'd be back, she felt very lonely. Whenever she cheered him up, she was actually cheering herself up as well. That's why, whenever he went far away for an important job, on evenings he didn't call. At the very least, she felt that standing underneath the same sky, her feelings would reach him. At that moment, I remember the words that girl had told me. It was best that I go back to Tokyo right away. Otherwise, there would be something I regret horribly. Yes, that's it. Because I was away on business that day, Yukie had headed up to the roof. I'm going to turn the music volume up. Had I known that this would have been the result, had I done as the girl had said and dropped everything to head back to Tokyo, I might have been with Yukie on the day she died. If I were with her, she wouldn't have gone up to the roof. The day my wife died was on the evening of the 3rd day of my trip. Yes, it was right before the time I had the sudden urge to hear Yukie's voice, and ran around the village trying to find a phone. The girl had gone around and cut all the phone cords. If she hadn't, and I made that call, I would have undoubtedly learned of Yukie's death at that time, and collapsed in tears. Of course, even though the cords were cut, it only put me off learning of Yukie's death by that one evening. In the end, I had learned of it the next morning. However, when I managed to put my emotions in order, I realized it was that girl's small token of consideration.
そんな話は初めて聞きました。
That's the first I've heard about that.
ええ。
Yeah,
私も初めて話します。
it's the first time I've talked about it.
偶然では
Could it have been a coincidence?
超能力じゃあるまいし。
She doesn't have any special powers or anything.
大石さんは教えてくれましたよね。
Aren't you the one who told me, Oishi-san?
あの子は親代様という神様の生まれ変わりではないかと言われてるって。
That she might be the reincarnation of the god called Oyashiro-sama.
ねえ、まあ
Oh, yeah.
村の年寄りどもはフルで理科に神通力があると信じてるようでしたがね。
The old folks in the village believe that Furede Rika had divine powers.
神通力。
Divine powers? Oishi had originally said it as a kind of joke, but realizing that it was serious, he slumped his shoulders.
まあ嘘か本当か知りませんがね。
Well, I don't know if this is the truth or not.
未来のことを予言してみせたり、知らないはずのことを話してみせたり。
And they said she did things like prophesy the future, or talk about things she should have no way of knowing.
That's a typo. It should be prophesy, not prophesize.
千里眼だの、天の啓示だの。
Which she was clairvoyant, and that it was divine revelation.
まあ、いろいろです。
Well, all sorts of things.
もちろん、具体的な実例は何一つありゃしないんですがね。
And of course, they couldn't give specific examples, though.
雪絵の事故を予言してみせました。
She prophesied Yukie's accident. Oishi tried to laugh it off, but out of respect to my deceased wife, he kept it restrained.
現職の警視庁の敏腕捜査官が神通力やらたたりやらを信じるわけで
Does that mean an outgiven capable investigator from the Metropolitan Police Department believes in divine powers and curses?
Having him say that so bluntly, I couldn't respond. Of course, I had no intention of believing such odd things. But he could only say that because he didn't know what I did. Since I met that other girl, who both was and wasn't Furude Rika, I couldn't deny the existence of any otherworldly entity.
予知でなく予告の可能性ももちろん否定できません。
Of course, I can't deny that it might not have been prescience, but rather a warning. Not prescience, but a warning. What that girl had said was a warning about Yukie's accident. Then things became much easier to understand. Basically, the line of thinking became that it was a threat. Because I didn't go back to Tokyo, my wife was killed in a way that made it look like an accident.
奥さんの事故の検証に不備は
Not satisfied with the investigation into your wife's accident?
もちろん謀殺の可能性も疑いました。
Of course, I suspected foul play.
現場検証の書類は全て目を通しましたし、 私が独自に調査もしました。
I poured over the results, and even carried out my own personal investigation. There weren't any witnesses to Yukie's fall. There was a possibility that somebody had hidden, waiting to push Yukie down the stairs. However, the cleaning ladies frequented the roof to hang laundry, and the security cameras on each floor hadn't recorded anything out of the ordinary. There wasn't anything set up on the stairs, and I was unable to find anything suspicious. Man.
結局、独自の検証の結果でも、幸恵が単独で事故を起こしたとしか考えられませんでした。
It had to be horrible watching the tapes and seeing your wife fall over and over and over, examining every angle. Jeez. In the end, even after my personal investigation, I can't think that anything else happened other than a simple accident.
ああ、確かに。
Well, of course.
大臣の孫を誘拐して脅迫してのけた連中です。
These were the guys that took the minister's grandson hostage.
妊婦一人を階段から突き落として証拠を残さないなんて
It wouldn't be
できないことじゃないのかもしれない。
They should have put some ellipses there in the captions then. It wouldn't be impossible for them to push a lone pregnant woman down the stairs without leaving any evidence. Oishi's expression had completely sobered up.
奥さんは連中に殺された。
They murdered your wife?
When Yukiya died, I thought that as well. More precisely, I wanted to blame somebody, so I created the most viable scapegoat. But without any clear evidence, that violent notion faded along with the wounds in my heart.
あの少女は私に妻の死を予告し脅迫したのか。
Did that girl know beforehand about my wife's death and was threatening me?
それとも妻の死を予言し救う道を示したのか。
Or did she prophesy that death? And was she offering me a road to salvation?
そのどちらかなのだとしたら私は後者ではないかと考えます。
If I had to choose between the two, I would tend towards the latter. She smiled slightly in disbelief as he poured more beer from his bottle.
じゃあいいですよ。
Then, if I may.
赤坂さんの言う通り、古出理香は未来がわかる預言者だとします。
If what you say is true, then Furude Rika was a prophet who knew the future.
なら、なぜあの大災害が予知できなかったんです
If so, why didn't she predict that disaster?
あんな恐ろしいガス災害が起こると知ってて、どうして黙っていたんです
If she knew that the gas eruption was going to happen, why did she remain silent?
ほんの数時間前でもいい。
Even a few hours beforehand would have been enough.
もし村に知らされていたら、 ほとんどの人は死なずに済んだかもしれないじゃないですか。
If the village knew, then most of the people would have escaped without dying.
Great Hinamizawa Disaster Memorial List. 59. Article 12. 3. March 31st, 1984. It was near the end of June 1983. Volcanic gases from the Onigafuchi swamp erupted and hit the village in the middle of the night. I feel like I'm getting drowned out by this background music. They should have mastered everything to be the same average volume, or at least have the same dynamic range. It was an unprecedented disaster where the whole populace was wiped out. It caused a wave of panic about volcanic gas across the country, causing people to overreact over any reports of odd smells. I hadn't heard of the blockade on the Hinamizawa area being lifted, so it should still be cordoned off.
それは
That's... It was my turn to be lost for a response.
まあでも、
Well,
お社様の生まれ変わりである古出リカが殺されたので、村がお社様の怒りに触れて、それで沼から瘴気が湧き出して村を死滅させたんじゃないかって。
if Furude Rika, the reincarnation of Oishiro-sama, was killed, then the village might have incurred the god's wrath, making him call forth the miasma for the swamp to kill everyone.
そういう話が確かにひなみ沢系の生存した人間たちの間でまことしやかにささやかれてたのは事実ですね。
And that explanation is what the survivors are whispering about.
大石さん、失礼。
Sorry, Oishi-san.
今、殺されたとおっしゃいましたか？
Did you just say she was killed?
え？
That?
ああ、うん。
Yeah.
まあ、赤坂さんになら話しても問題ないか。
Well, I don't think it would be a problem if I told you.
When I saw the news about the gas disaster, I remembered that girl. I then found her name in the list of victims. That's why, at the time, I thought her own death she had predicted was due to the gas. It was after that I learned from the tabloids of the mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa during the 5 years leading up to the disaster that became known as the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. And that string of mysterious deaths lined up exactly with what that girl had predicted, so I had always thought to ask Goichi about it, as he had been involved in the investigation. That's right. That was the reason for our reunion. But right now, Oishi had said,
Furude Rika didn't die in the disaster.
but was killed?
最後の年のたたりについて聞かせてもらってもいいですか？
Can I ask you about the last year of the curse?
私、退職したとはいえ、守秘義務がありますよ。
I may be retired, but I still have to keep things confidential, you know?
中井さん、すみません。
Excuse me, sorry. Excuse me, madam.
お冷やでちょっとグレードの高い地酒はありませんか？
Do you have anything cold that's brewed locally? High grade if there is.
種類はお任せします。
I'll leave the selection to you.
いやいや、そういうつもりで言ったんじゃないんだけどな。
Oh my, I didn't mean it that way.
Oishi laughed out loud. Oishi laughed loudly, not wholly unsatisfied, and stopped the hostess to tell her that the cheap booze was fine.
私も週刊誌で報道されている通りのところまでは知っています。
I know as much as was written in those magazines.
でも大災害の年のたたりは 全く知りません。
But I don't know anything about the curse that happened the year of the disaster.
例の大災害のせいでひなみ沢地区全域が封鎖されちゃいましたからね。
Because the entire area around Hinamizawa was sealed off, you see.
最後の年のたたりについてはほとんど捜査ができてないんですよ。
There wasn't much of an investigation that could be done in the last year of the curse. Even if
何年か後に封鎖が解けたとしても村人のほとんどが死んでますし、数少ない生存者も親戚の元なんかに散って所在がほとんどわからないですからね。
I've realized what was up about here, and so I started dropping off here. And what do you know? When I would have said this, then he started talking.
even if after several years the quarantine is lifted, the villagers are mostly dead, and what few survivors there were mostly went to stay with relatives, their whereabouts mostly unknown.
完全に迷宮入りです。
It's a complete dead end.
Oishi seemed to postulate to himself as he stared at the ceiling, as if trying to work out a memory from the rusty cogs in his head. And then he said in a completely sober voice,
週刊誌なんかじゃ5年目のたたりが大災害だみたいな言い方をしてますけどね。
The magazines made it seem that the curse of the fifth year was that disaster.
本当の5年目のたたりはちゃんと綿流しの祭りの当日にあったんですよ。
But the actual curse really happened on the day of the Watanagashi festival.
富武二郎っていう旅行写真家がいましてね。
A photographer by the name of Tomitake Jiro.
彼が犠牲に。
He was the victim.
Oishi gestured about how the victim tore out his own throat with his fingernails as he talked.
で、その富武氏の恋仲の女性が山中で焼死体に。
And the burnt corpse of the woman Tomitake was in a relationship with was found in the mountains in Gifu.
お隣の県警さんがあんまり協力的じゃなかったもんで、こっちはあまりよく状況を知らないんですがね。
The Gifu prefectural police weren't very cooperative, so I don't know much about it though.
一夜にして犠牲者が2人も。
There were 2 victims in one night?
実はね、
Actually, see,
2人どころじゃ済まないんですよ。
it wasn't just those two.
その翌日になんですがね。
You see, the next day,
私の後輩の熊谷君が捜査中に車両ごと蒸発しましてね。
Kumagai-kun, one of my subordinates, disappeared along with his car in the middle of his investigation.
Okay, this happened in Tatarigoroshi-hen, but Oishi disappeared with him. Kumagai was a younger detective that was going to be partnered with Oishi after we first met.
富武氏の事件捜査のために村に聞き込みなんかに回ってたんですよ。
He was going around the village to question people about the incident with Tomitake.
何かの事件に巻き込まれたのかもしれない。
He might have gotten caught up in something.
私と一緒だったなら無事だったかもしれないと思うと今でも悔しいですよ。
If he were with me, he might have been safe. Even though it still stings.
Ah, he's suffering the same exact kind of guilt that Akasaka is over Yukie.
あの日どういうわけか私お腹をひどく壊しましてね。
That day, for some reason, I did a real number on my stomach.
外回りは遠慮しちゃってたんですよ。
I had to pass on going around outside.
事件の真相に近づきすぎて消された。
He got too close to the truth and was made to disappear.
と思ってます。
That's what I think.
クマちゃんは善と有望な若者だったけどまだ現場経験が不足してた。
Kuna-chan was young and had a promising future ahead of him, but he still didn't have enough experience on a scene.
トラブル慣れしてなかったんです。
He wasn't used to dealing with any complications.
Oishi lamented the fact that he wasn't with his subordinate that day.
で、さらに翌日ですね。
And then, the next day, see.
なあ、彼のことは赤坂さんもご存知ですよね。
You know him as well, Akasaka-san.
ほら、入江先生ですよ。
You know, Dr. Irie.
覚えてます？
You remember him?
ああ、あの病院の若い先生ですね。
That young doctor from the hospital.
ぼんやりと覚えてます。
I vaguely remember.
彼ですね。どういうわけか睡眠薬で自殺しまして。
For whatever reason, he committed suicide with sleeping pills.
遺書の類はなし。
No suicide note or anything.
司法解剖の結果でも睡眠薬によるものと断定されました。
The autopsy confirmed that it was the sleeping pills.
動機以外に不審な点はなし。
Nothing was in doubt except for the motive.
睡眠薬での死に見せかけるのはそんなに難しくないんじゃないですか？
It isn't that hard to make it look like somebody died from taking sleeping pills, is it?
他殺の可能性は？
Any possibility it was a murder?
独身で離婚歴もなし。
He was single, no prior marriages.
特定の女性と付き合っていたという話もなし。
It didn't seem like he was going out with anybody in particular.
Yeah, because you know how he idolizes Satoko. Yeah, he's all kawaii yo, omatsukairi.
少年野球チームの監督を務め、村人との親交もあり、誰からも好かれる人物。
Did I say this?
It didn't seem like he was going out with anybody in particular. He was the coach of the local junior baseball team and was on good terms with the villagers. He was liked by everybody.
敵が見当たりませんね。
I couldn't find anybody who would want to do him harm.
まあそれを調べるにも、もうあの大災害でめちゃくちゃになっちゃいましたからね。
Well, any chances to investigate were ruined by the disaster, though.
今となっては彼の身辺を調べようもありませんが。
And there's no way to find out anything about him now.
それでフルでリカの死は？
Then what about Furude Rika's death?
その当日です。
It was that day.
昼頃に神社に訪れた村の老人たちが
Around noon, some of the old folks who were visiting the shrine
フルでリカの死体を発見しました。
discovered the corpse of Furude Rika.
他殺？
Murder?
ああ、話す前にそのイカそうめん食べちゃっといた方がいいですよ。
Yeah, eating any kind of pasta dish, especially a cold pasta dish, would not be a good idea when talking about what's gonna happen. If this is anything like Tatarigurashi-hen.
Before we continue, you should probably stop eating that squid somen.
無体な死に方？
That bad? Oishi nodded firmly.
死体は神社の境内、賽銭箱の脇でした。
The corpse was found in the shrine grounds, next to the donation box.
もっとも閉めたのは他の場所でしょうね。
Although, she was probably killed somewhere else.
全裸で裸足。
That's because, while she was completely naked,
足の裏は汚れてませんでしたから。
there wasn't any dirt on the soles of her feet.
愉快犯の犯行？
Any sign it was some sort of sexual assault?
司法解剖の結果、そういった痕跡は認められませんでした。
According to the autopsy, there wasn't any indication of that.
分かったのは、薬物で昏睡させられてから、あの場所へ運ばれ、腹部を切開。
What we know is that she was rendered unconscious by some sort of drug, carried to that place, then had her abdomen sliced wide open.
意図的に臓器を引きずり出して、四方に散らしてみせました。
Her organs were deliberately removed and scattered about.
昏睡？
Unconscious?
では 回復は死後ではなく。
Then she wasn't cut open after her death.
うん。
なんてむごい。
That's horrible. That girl's prediction was right on the mark. I'm pretty sure she was more detailed about the other deaths that led up to her own. Typo. For example, I think she said that the housewife that was beaten to death on the 4th year had her head split open. Then in that case, did she know that her own death would be so terrible? Turn the volume up again. Because frankly, who doesn't love this track? There must have been some moments where she wanted to doubt the validity of her own predictions. Okay, maybe a little back down again. But as people died exactly as prophesied, as the years passed, that prophecy would only come closer to fruition. And then, facing the final year, unable to struggle against her own destiny, her all too young life was snuffed out. And in such a cruel way. Knowing that her days were numbered, and unable to fight the tide of events heralding her end, my heart ached at her helplessness.
この死に方ですが、どうも単なる猟奇趣味ってわけじゃないみたいなんです。
About the way she died, it seems like it wasn't just somebody's sitting tastes.
と言いますのはですね、ひなみ沢はかつて鬼が住んでたって話は以前もしましたよね。
What I'm saying is...
Hey Laboost, sorry I didn't see the chat. My phone had timed out. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I've told you before about how Hinamizawa used to be home to demons, didn't I?
そんな話も聞きましたっけ。
Yeah. I think I remember.
ひなみ沢村のお祭りの綿流しっていうのはそもそも綿流し、つまり人食い鬼たちが内臓を川に捨てたというところから転じたらしいんですよ。
The festival in Hinamizawa village, Watanagashi, commonly read as the cotton drifting, seems to stem from the drifting of entrails.
Seems that it came from the man-eating demons ripping apart the victims and throwing their organs into the river. Oh,
It seems that it came from the man-eating demons ripping apart their victims and throwing their organs into the river.
つまりひなみ沢村においては宗教的な意味があったと。
I guess they didn't have a dialogue line recorded for that. In other words, in Hinamizawa, pulling out entrails had some sort of religious meaning?
で、ひなみ沢村の昔話によるとですね。
Well, this is according to the old tales in Hinamizawa, you see.
人食い鬼と人間が仲良く暮らすための調停者としてお社様という神様が降臨しているってことになってるらしい。
So he left as an arbitrator so that the humans and the man-eating demons could live together peacefully. A god known as Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens.
確かフルでリカはそのお社様の生まれ変わりだと言われてるんでしたね。
If I recall, Furude Rika was said to be the living incarnation of that Oyashiro-sama, wasn't she?
ねえ。ですからその荒人神であるフルデリカを回復して殺すのは村の信仰に対するこれ以上ない冒涜行為と言えるわけです。
So, cutting up in Furude Rika,
Turn it down just a tad.
who was a living god, would be to the village nothing less than absolute sacrilege.
信仰への冒涜。
Absolute sacrilege.
それはつまりお社様への冒涜ということですね。
In other words, you mean sacrilege towards Oyashiro-sama?
あとは 赤坂さんも知っての通りです。
The rest you should know, Akasaka-san.
お社様のたたりが起こるのはその晩のことです。
The wrath of Oyashiro-sama would occur that same night.
ひなみざわ大災害。
The Great Hinamizawa Disaster. The official explanation was that some swamp upstream erupted with toxic volcanic gas which enveloped the village.
発生した沼は鬼ヶ淵沼と言いまして、
The swamp where it erupted was called Onigafuchi Swamp.
ひなみざわ村の旧名鬼ヶ淵村の名前の源となった沼です。
It was the origin of Hinamizawa's old name, Onigafuchi Village.
村の言い伝えでは、この沼の奥底は地獄につながっているそうで、かつて村にやってきた人食い鬼たちはこの沼から訪れたのだとか。
According to village lore, the depths of the swamp apparently lead to hell, where the man-eating demons came from.
できすぎですね。
It almost seems too perfect.
いやいやいや、まだまだできすぎてますよ。
No, 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 no. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
村には伝承がありまして、お社様がお怒りになられると地獄の釜が開いて正気があふれ出すなんて言うんですよ。
There is another bit of folklore in the village. If Oyashiro-sama became angry, the cauldron of hell would open up and miasma would flow out. Or so they say.
村人にとって地獄というのは沼の底のこと。
To the villagers, hell was at the bottom of the swamp.
つまりそこから正気が溢れ出して村を襲うということ。
So basically, the miasma poured out, smothering the village.
そう。
Yeah.
つまり古出リカ子とお社様の生まれ変わりが冒涜される殺され方をしたので、お社様がお怒りになってたたりとしてあの大災害を起こしたと。
Basically, due to the sacrilegious way that Furude Rika, the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama, was killed, the village incurred the wrath of Oyashiro-sama in the form of that disaster.
そういう話がまかり通っちゃってるんですよ。
And that seems to be their explanation.
つまりあの大災害は人為的なもの。
So, what you're saying is that the disaster wasn't a natural one?
確かに話ができすぎてますからね。
Well, everything does seem to fit together a little too well.
お社様のたたりが実在せず、本当の偶発的事故でもないってんなら、そう疑いたくもなりますよね。
If Oyashiro-sama's curse doesn't really exist, and everything really was just a matter of coincidence, I would doubt it.
A wry smile formed on Oyushi's face as he listened to my absurd take on things. He wore an expression as though even if it were absurd, there was a time he had thought the same thing as well.
村の信仰をめぐって狂信的な一派があったと仮定し、
In regards to the religious beliefs of the villagers, suppose there were a more fanatical group among them.
彼らがお社様のお怒りがあるような状況を作り出し、大災害を実行してみせた。
And that group created a situation that would incur Oyashiro-sama's wrath, and enacted the disaster to make it seem like the truth.
もちろん、私は笑いませんよ。
Of course, I won't laugh.
私も一度ならずともそう考えたことはあります。
Oh, is she not laughing? That's like a first.
I've wandered down that line of reasoning more than once myself.
ですが、ひなみざわ村がいかに小さい村とはいえ、人口は1000人以上。
However, even though Hinamizawa was a small village, still had a population of over 1,000 people.
それを一夜にして抹殺するなんて、どう考えても現実的じゃないです。
To murder that many people in a single night doesn't seem realistic, no matter how you think about it.
The gas eruption was believed to have happened around 2 a.m., several hours before dawn. And that short amount of time going around and killing all the villagers in a way that made it look like poison gas didn't seem feasible at all.
ガスの発生した沼もまた 宗教的な意味がありましたよね。
The swamp the gas erupted from still had some religious significance, didn't it?
だとしたら沼に何か仕掛けがあって神の裁きをいつでも再現できるような何かがあったとか。
If that's the case, then maybe there was something set up in the swamp. Something that could be activated whenever a divine verdict was rendered.
自衛隊の発表では沼が発生源だということになってますよね。
According to JSDF press release, the swamp was declared the source of the eruption.
調査チームとかが詳しく調べた上での発表ですからね。
And this was after everything was thoroughly looked over by the investigative team.
そんな仕掛けがあったら見つけてると思いますけどね。
If anything like that were set up, I think they would have found it.
沼そのものに仕掛けがあるとは限りませんよ。
It wouldn't necessarily have to be in the swamp itself.
ほら、聞いたことありませんか？
Come on, haven't you ever heard about it?
遠くの泉の水が枯れたら裏の泉も枯れたなんて昔話。
The old story about how when a faraway spring dried up, the village spring dried up as well.
何ですかそりゃ。
What do you mean by that?
水源ってのは地下水脈等でつながっていることが多いんです。
Many waterways are connected by underground aquifers.
沼や泉はそれが地上に露出した部分に過ぎません。
Swamps and springs are only the parts that manage to pop up above the surface.
つまり赤坂さんが言いたいのは鬼ヶ淵沼とつながった別の沼か泉があって
So what you're saying is that Onigafichi Swamp is connected to another swamp or spring.
それに何らかの仕掛けをすると鬼ヶ淵沼の圧力とか水圧とかそういうものがいろいろ変わって毒ガスが噴出する仕掛けを大昔の村人がこさえていたと。
There's something the villagers rigged up there long ago. Something that changes the pressure of Onigafichi Swamp, causing it to erupt with poison gas.
そういう話ですよね。
Is that what you're getting at?
Oh, she laughed heartily, commending the fact that the youngins have a nice, flexible way of thinking. That was the former detective in him. Even though it was a hypothesis that he didn't come up with, he still had the presence of mind to not dismiss it right away.
面白い話です。
That's an interesting theory.
それが立証できたら日本の犯罪史始まって以来の空前規模の大量殺人ってことになりますよ。
If that proves to be true, then it would be unprecedentedly the largest mass murder in the history of Japan.
ひなみざわ村の封鎖が解除されたらぜひ調べるべきだと思います。
Once the quarantine on Hinamizawa village is lifted, I think it should definitely be investigated.
大石さんは県警にはまだ影響力は？
Oishi-san, do you still have any connections with the prefectural police?
そこそこには。
Somewhat.
柔道部の名誉顧問ですからね。今でも夏の合宿やなんかにはちょくちょく出かけてます。
I'm an honorary advisor for their judo classes, so even though I pop by during summer training camps and such.
ひなみざわ村の封鎖解除がいつになるかわかりませんがぜひ調べさせてください。
I don't know when the quarantine on Hinamizawa village will be lifted, but please let me help investigate.
わかりました。
Got it.
大石さんはこのひなみざわ村連続開始事件、通称お社様のたたりをどう捉えていますか？
Yadan, Oishi-san, how do you feel about the string of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa they call the curse of Oyashiro-sama?
当時の署内は村人の圧力でぎゅうぎゅうでしてね。
At the time, the villagers were putting a lot of pressure on the station.
連続事件は存在しないというのが当時の公式見解でした。
The official stance on things was that the cases were unrelated.
事件は個々でまたそれぞれに解決していると。
That each case was separate, each with its own resolution.
バカな。
That couldn't be.
村の信仰に基づいた連続事件であることは明白なのに。
Even though it was blatantly obvious that the cases were connected, based on the village's religious beliefs?
赤坂さん、そりゃ5年も続いて派手な最後があった今だから言えることですよ。
Village is religious. That's sort of like a tongue twister there. I'm already fighting to not trip over my words, and that happens.
Akasaka-san, we can only say that now because of the rather grandiose way things ended after 5 years.
あの当時は偶然の事件が偶然にも綿流しの日に起こる。
At the time, those coincidental incidents just happened to coincidentally occur on the day of Watanagashi.
Typo.
今年は起きないといいな、なんて感じだったんです。
Just, it would be nice if nothing happened this year, kind of feel to it.
偶然なものか。
Coincidence.
少女は初めから全て予言していた。
The girl predicted everything from the beginning.
少女
Girl.
フルでリカです。
Furuderica.
あの子は私にその後の事件を全て予告してみせました。
That child warned me about all the incidents that would happen afterwards. I'm fighting back the honor.
赤坂さん、そりゃ本当ですか？
Akasaka-san. Is that true?
はい、
Yes,
あの子は言ったんです。
the girl said as much.
翌年、ダムの現場監督が殺され、死体をバラバラにされると、
That the next year, the dam foreman would be killed, and his corpse dismembered.
のみにとどまらず、その後に続く連続事件を全て私に予告してみせました。
Not only that, she warned me of all the events that would transpire in the following years.
赤坂さんがその話を聞いたのは昭和の何年の話ですか？
Akasaka-san, when she told you all of that, what year was it?
私が少女と出会ったのは誘拐事件調査の折ですから、昭和53年6月です。
When I met the girl, I was investigating the kidnapping incident. So, June of 1978.
バラバラ殺人の前年に
The year before the dismemberment murder.
Wrinkles formed between Oishi's eyebrows as he closed his eyes and began to digest what I had just told him.
赤坂さん、
Akasaka-san.
フルで理科が神通力で未来が分かった。なんて話がなしだとするなら、これはとんでもない話ですよ。
If you're wrong about Furuderica knowing the future through some divine medium, this is getting ridiculous.
はい。
Yep.
今さら私を驚かせるための作り話だ。なんて言ったら本気で怒りますよ。
If you're just trying to shock me, I'm gonna be really angry, you know?
私は真実を話しています。
I'm speaking the truth.
連続開始事件は発生の前年にはもうすべてシナリオが用意されていた。
Then the script behind the chain of mysterious deaths was written a year before it even started.
そしてその予告の通り、
And
フ
just
ル
as,
でリカは殺されました。
and just as predicted, Furuderica was killed.
私ははじめ大災害による死を指したものと思っていた。
At first, I thought she meant that she would be killed in a disaster.
でも彼女の死は災害ではなく殺人者の手による残忍なものであることが分かりました。
However, now that I know that her death wasn't due to that, but rather an atrocious one at the hands of a murderer,
彼女は殺されると言った。
she said she would be killed.
彼女は自分の死を具体的にあの時点で知っていたんです。
At that point in time, she knew more or less how her own death would occur.
ならフルでリカはどうして逃げ出さなかったんですかね。
Then, why didn't Furuderica try and run away?
仮にそういった死のシナリオがすでに出来上がっていたとして、
Even if her death was already spelled out for her,
彼女はそれを知りかつ数年という猶予期間があったわけですよね。
knowing that she still had a grace period of several years, didn't she?
逃げ出すなり警察に相談するなりの時間はあったはずです。
She had plenty of time to try and run away or consult the police.
なぜ抗わずに自らの死を受け入れたんです？
Why did she just accept her death with no resistance?
わかりません。
I don't know.
フルデリカは村の年寄り連中に可愛がられてはいましたがね。
Even though Furude Rika was doted upon by the older folks in the village, you see.
両親を失った後は親類もゼロで身寄りはなく、親しい友人と肩を寄せ合うだけの孤独な生活でしたからね。
After she lost her parents, she had no living relatives, and lived a fairly solitary life other than hanging around with some close friends.
戦う力も頼れる人間も身近にはいなかったのかもしれません。
It might have been she didn't have any power to fight or anybody to rely on.
彼女は自分の死に対して誰かに SOS を発しはしなかったんでしょうか。
She must have tried signaling somebody for help in regards to her own death, though.
村と警察が穏便な関係じゃなかったのは赤坂さんも知られるところだと思います。
You know very well that the village and the police weren't very amicable with one another, Akasaka-san.
少なくとも私の耳にはフルデリカが自身の身柄の保護を求めてきたという情報はありません。
At the very least, I never heard anything about Furude Rika seeking protection from anybody.
あるいは自身が宗教的な生贄にされることに対し定感というか達観というか。
It could be that she simply resigned herself to being a religious sacrifice.
そういうものがあったのかもしれませんね。
It could have been something like that.
そんなはずはない。
There's no way that was the case. I spoke decisively. At that time, she said it. She had definitely said that she wanted to live happily, that she wanted to spend her time surrounded by her dear friends. She hadn't given up on life. She had hoped to keep on living. At that moment, I became dumbstruck.
どうしました？
What's the matter?
赤坂さん。
Akasaka-san.
いえ。
Nothing. I fell into silence. Oishi folded his arms and began murmuring in contemplation again. Eventually, he stood up and headed towards the hallway to find the hostess, yelling that he wanted a pen and paper. When Oishi, noisy even though he was just thinking, left, the room immediately fell into a chilled silence. I stood up. It was then I realized I was drunk enough to be unsteady on my feet. When I slid open the window, a beautiful yet somehow ephemeral moon drifted across the night sky. It was just now that I realized she hadn't accepted her own death. She wanted to keep living, happily and joyously. She had said that quite clearly to me. But I was a fool. I hadn't been asked explicitly, so I hadn't realized it. She had made it clear as day that she didn't want to die. Was that her cry for help? She didn't say as much that she wanted help. But even given that, it wasn't as though she were looking for salvation. Without any family and unable to trust the police, she instead told somebody without any relation to the village, somebody from a faraway place. Me. Help me. She had gone around and cut the phone cords. Darn it. Getting drowned out here. It's always this one track. This one track. She had gone around and cut the phone cords. If I had made that phone call and learned of Ike's death, I probably would have fallen into despair. If I was in that state, even if she were looking for help, her cries would have fallen on deaf ears. That's why. Knowing everything, she had cut the phone cords. She wanted even a little time to seek help from me. Oishi, just before now, had lamented that one of the younger officers had gotten mixed up in a case, having been erased because he wasn't there. Typo. There's supposed to be a had. I was feeling the same way. If only. I was there in June of 1983. I could have protected her. In 1983, it would have been 5 years since the kidnapping took place. While raising the only daughter Yukie had left me, putting all my youth and passion into my work, honing my wits and courage wrestling with difficult cases. Nothing like my feelings during the kidnapping incident would have occurred. I wouldn't have been slow to react in a one-on-one fight. And by that point, I had jumped into foreign mafia running gambling parlors. Shut up. Where I'd learned to deal with automatic weapons, let alone handguns. I had grown so much that in 1983 I couldn't have been even compared to how I was in 1978. That's why, if I were by her side, I should have been able to save her life. No matter what conspiracy or foul plots drew near, I definitely would have protected her. She, even though sounding resigned, should have still been able to ask me for help. I just didn't realize it. I couldn't realize it. Just as I wouldn't have realized it if I were told of Yukie's accident. I wasn't able to realize it. I wanted to cry. If I had taken her words to heart, I would have prevented Yukie's accident. Then I would have been able to protect the girl to whom I owed a debt from even a predetermined death. She must have been expecting that from me. I learned about the disaster while watching television in my house. Until I learned about that, I had forgotten about Hinamizawa. In order to recover from the shock of Yukie's death, I tried to remove everything about the place from my memory. What an ungrateful fool I was. Even though in exchange for saving her, the girl had told me of a way to save Yukie. I wasn't able to accept her gratitude, and now here we were! She hadn't died in her sleep due to a natural disaster. She was split open while still alive, killed while suffering the disgrace of having her organs torn out. She must have known beforehand that on that day, that year, she would be killed in such a terrifying way. But even knowing what end awaited her, she was all too weak. A lone girl, without anybody to rely upon, and anybody to seek help, had to swallow her own predetermined death, and left this mortal coil. She said she wanted to live. She said she just wanted to live happily. That's all she wanted. She didn't ask for anything extravagant. For any person that was ever born, it was the very basis of desires. She never said a peep about wanting money or that she wished she was in somebody else's situation. She had said it. That if all deaths were preordained, then hers was probably also all according to plan. She might have been a lone, frail girl, but I don't think she would have accepted it all without at least putting up a fight. There must have been, in some small way, some form of resistance that she mustered. And with what she could muster, seeking my help was part of that. I howled. I stomped the floor. Why did I become a police officer in the first place? How could I call myself an officer? I couldn't save a single girl from the misfortune that was awaiting her. Was it because there was so much going on at the time I could process the fact that she was asking for help? Yeah, that's right. I was still green. If I were in that situation now, I would have definitely been able to help her. But it was already all over. Even if I wanted to settle the regrets she left behind, Hinamizawa, as a dangerous area, was still quarantined. Most of the people involved were already dead. The few that did remain spread across the country, unable to be traced. The stage of that tragedy was still off limits as well. The police investigation was put on hold, the case slowly being buried in the sands of time. Just like how I wouldn't have known unless Oishi had asked me about it.
赤坂さん、
Akasaka-san,
大丈夫ですか？
are you okay?
At some point, Oishi had returned with a notebook in hand. Until I saw the expression on Oishi's face, I didn't realize that I was in tears.
私は気づけなかった。Never realized. 少女の助けに気づけなかった。I never realized. She wanted help.
赤坂さん、
Akasaka-san,
落ち着いてください。
calm down.
でももう全部遅いんです。It's all too late now. 少女は殺された。She was killed. こんなにも無残な殺され方で。It's such a atrocious manner. 私は頼られたのに救えなかった。She was counting on me. But I couldn't save her. 救えなかった。I couldn't save her!
村人と良好な関係を築かなかった私にも責任があるかもしれません。
Hen might also be at fault for not building up an amicable relationship with the village.
フルでリカが私にそれを打ち明けてくれたなら、私だって救いの手を差し伸べられたかもしれない。
If Furude Rika had told me about it, I might have been able to extend a helping hand.
彼女が打ち明けに足る信頼を築けなかった。
I wasn't able to build up enough trust for that.
後悔しています。
That's something I regret.
When Oishi said the word trust, it weighed on me even more. Yes, she had given me her trust. She trusted me. Meaning that she thought I would have been able to ward off the fate of her foreseen death. She believed in that. I cried. I fell on my hands and knees as it began to bawl. Eventually, Oishi spoke quietly.
赤坂さん、
Akasaka-san,
悔しいですか？
does it upset you?
What do you think, Oishi? I'm bent over, tears rolling down my eyes, talking like an angsty, edgy teenage protagonist of some shonen anime, and you are asking if I'm upset?
悔しいです。
It does.
ならば、
Good.
フルでリカの仇を取るに値する方法が一つだけあります。
There's only one way worth mentioning for Furude Rika to have her revenge.
そんな方法が
Is there really?
あるんですか？
Is there a way to do that?
Oishi showed me the...
Oh. Oishi showed me the pen and notebook.
フルでリカの死を悼むためにも、せめて私たちで真相を。
In order to properly mourn the death of Furude Rika, we have to at least find out the truth.
そう。
Truth.
そうです。フルでリカだけじゃない。
Yeah, that's right. And not just Furude Rika.
大勢が死にました。
Lots of people died.
彼らの無念は計り知れません。
Their lament must be immeasurable.
でも彼らの死はあの大災害でうやむやにされ、今は捜査すらされることなく、忘却の彼方に葬られようとしています。
But their deaths were left unsettled because of the disaster, and now we can't even investigate them, as their memory fades into oblivion.
大勢死んだ。
Many people died.
おやっさんも殺された。クマちゃんも消された。みんな犠牲にあった。
Old man was killed. Kuma-chan was erased. Everybody was a victim.
なのに警察は捜査もできないでいる。
But the police can't even investigate it.
誰に無念が晴らせるのか。
Who's gonna take care of their parting regrets?
私たちだけなんですよ。
Only we can.
赤坂さん。
Akasaka-san.
私たち真相が
We find the truth.
いい。
Yeah,
明かせますよ。
we'll find it.
連続開始事件の全ての現場を踏み、村の裏事情に精通する私と、連続開始事件の前年にフルで理科から重要な真実を明かされたあなたとなら、
I can run every one of the string of mysterious deaths and know all of the inner workings of the village. You were told an important truth a year before they happened by Furude Rika. We can do it!
でももう死んでしまったんですよ。
But they're already dead.
そうです。
That's right.
フルで理科は死にました。
Furude Rika died.
あなたが青2歳だったから救えなかった。
You were too inexperienced, you couldn't save her!
Boy, she grabbed me, moved it back, and lifted me firmly by the pels.
だから
That's why!
その償いとして真相を究明するんです。
To atone for
私
that,
たちで。
we reveal the truth!
あなたの話が事実なら、全ての事件は計画ということになる。
If what you say is true, then all the incidents were part of some greater design.
そうならば、調べ方は全然変わってくるんですからね。
If that's the case, then how we investigate needs to change completely.
私は今夜をかけてあなたと私の持つ全ての情報をノートにまとめ、明日の朝一番で元の部下たちと連絡を取るつもりです。
Let me guess, the subordinate is Komiyama? That's the only other subordinate they bothered to name. So I'm gonna guess it's Komiyama.
I intend to spend tonight summarizing all the information you and I have, and then get in contact with one of my former subordinates first thing in the morning.
あの事件を終わらせるものか。
We're not gonna let the case go cold.
絶対に暴いてやるんです。
We're definitely gonna crack it wide open.
暴く。
Crack it open.
暴く。
Crack it open!
ねえ、
We will.
あれから数年が経過しましたが、時効ではない。
Several years have passed, but it's not beyond the statute of limitations.
捜査は中断であっても終了ではない。
Even if the case has been postponed, it's not closed.
まだ続いているんです。
It's still going.
続けさせるんです。私たちがです。
We're going to keep it going.
ええ。ええ。
Yeah.
You're right!
やりましょう。大石さん。
Let's do it! Oi-san!
このまま終わらせたりなんかしない。
I won't let it end like this!
絶対私たちがこの真相を暴いてみせるんです。
I'm certain we'll uncover the truth!
絶対に。
We absolutely will! I demonstrated my resolve to Oishi by crying out those words. And just then,
パパ
the sliding door behind me opened, and Miyuki revealed herself while sleepily rubbing her eyes. My shouting must have awoken her. Then she rushed over to me.
どうしたのパパ。
What's wrong, Papa?
パパ泣いてるの？
Papa, why are you crying?
あ
Oh!
あ、なんでもない。なんでもないよ。
It's nothing,
みゆき。
Miyuki. It's nothing. I tried hard to smile while wiping away my tears. And though Miyuki looked like she was about to cry herself, she extended her little hand to me.
大丈夫？
Are you alright?
また怖い夢を見たの？
Did you have another scary dream?
泣かないでパパ。
Don't cry, Papa.
And when she makes that gesture toward me, I saw the figure of another girl overlapping with her. And distant gaze and his expression felt frustratingly nostalgic, filling me with painful torment. A girl who couldn't be here because I didn't reach out to her. She borrowed my daughter's body to offer me words of comfort. Typo.
赤坂、
赤坂、
泣かないでくださいなのです。
please don't cry.
It might be a hallucination. Maybe a convenient illusion formed from my selfish dreams. However, that was her voice. I'm certain I heard it. Rather than blaming me for my mistake, she was compassionate.
ああ、泣くものか。
Why am I crying?
泣くよりもまず私にはやるべきことがある。
After all, I have something more important to do than crying.
みゆき、
Miyuki,
パパはね、お前が生まれる前にひなみ沢ってところで天使みたいな女の子に会ったんだ。
before you were born, Papa met a girl in Hinamizawa. It was like an angel.
天使？本当に？
An angel? Really?
ああ、可愛くて優しくて。
Yeah, she was cute and kind.
みゆきにも会わせてあげたかったな。
I wanted her to meet you, Miyuki. Right. That's already an impossible wish. That future is already gone.
じゃあみゆき、その子とお友達になりたい。
And I want to be friends with that girl.
楽しみだな。
I'm looking forward to it.
今度みゆきも連れて行ってね。
Next time you go, take me with you.
ひなみ沢に。
To Hinamizawa.
Even so, there's still something I can do.
ああ、そうだね。
Of course,
いつか一緒に会いに行こ
we'll meet her together someday.
う。必ず。
I'm sure of it.
Yep.
Someday, I'm sure. We will see her again. Nice little fourth wall break. That summer, the Higurashi cried in Hinamizawa. Oishi and I vowed to bring the truth of the case to light, and stood up. Everything ended in 1985. I, at least, wanting to apologize and search for a grave. After the state autopsy, her remains were entrusted to one of the shrine's followers. In the future, when the quarantine on the Hinamizawa area was lifted, they would be returned to her family grave. However, unsure who exactly took the remains of Furude Rika, until today I couldn't even apologize to her. In the future, when the quarantine on Hinamizawa is lifted, all I could do then was wait until whoever that person is returned to the grave. What I could do right now was not apologize to her. Instead, until I was able to meet her again, I would reveal the truth and dispel her regrets. Even now, sporadic eruptions of gas in the Hinamizawa area meant that the prospect of the quarantine being lifted wasn't happening anytime soon. Most likely, it seemed that she had no intention of meeting me again until I found the truth. That's why the quarantine would be lifted. So I thought. Till the day I grasped the truth. It was the following year. What a mode is that? Oh, it's that one. Oishi and I co-authored a book on the string of mysterious deaths leading up to the Great Hinamizawa Disaster. I decided on the title. You ready for this? Here it goes. Higurashi no Naku Koro ni. That was because for those few days I was in Hinamizawa, the sound that I remember the most was the cry of the Higurashi. I could only wish that, based on this book, those people involved with that incident could refresh their memories and bring to light a new truth. And more importantly, that nothing like this ever happens again. I wrote this in the afterword.
この惨劇がどうして起こされたのか
Why did this tragedy happen?
私たちだけでは真相に至ることが叶いません
We can't reach truth by ourselves.
どうかこれを読んだあなた
If you're reading this,
真相を解き明かしてください
please discover the truth.
それだけが
That is our
私
only
たち
wish.
の願いです。
クラウド大石。
Akasaka Mamoru. This year, the quarantine on Hinamizawa still hasn't been lifted.
Higurashi no Naku Koro ni Himatsubushi-hen. A new scenario has been unlocked.
Alright, we get this at the end of every arc. So I will come back to this. In fact, I have Miyakashi-hen and I have Tsumihoroboshi-hen, which I need to actually mod. But, hold on, let's do this achievement first.
Achievement unlocked. Our only wish. Continued waiting for the quarantine to lift.
But, I have an announcement. I'm going to be putting Higurashi no Naku Koro ni on hold for a little bit. I've been doing these past 4 arcs, each of them full-length games, consecutively, and 2 times a week, practically every week, and it's a lot of voice acting. I rip my throat doing it, and sometimes you just need a break as well. So I'm going to be focusing on survival horror. Trying to get a PS2 for myself, because I have Silent Hill 4 The Room, and I can borrow a whole library of PS2 games that my dad has for streaming. But in any case, we're already playing the Whistleblower DLC of Outlast for the first time on Tuesdays, so I think I'll clear that, then I'll find something else, and oh, that reminds me. I need to pre-order Spyro the Reignited Trilogy, because the first 2 Spyro games were the first games I ever played, so I am definitely pre-ordering that. That will be the first game I have ever pre-ordered, probably one of the last, because I don't believe in that system. It's a rip-off, mostly. But we're going to put Higurashi on hold for a little bit. We'll return to it soon enough. But yeah, that's what the schedule for the future, the near future of the stream is going to look like. So I'm excited for that. Be sure to tune in Tuesday night if you want to see me play Whistleblower Blind. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. As always, if you like what you see, please feel free to like, comment, join our Discord if you haven't. Any feedback you can give me at all will help me tailor my future content towards your interests. I'm Regulus Pastor, and until next time, Wane!